this is Sarah from Story Manifest. Now, Story Manifest is a channel where we try to use storytelling in order to manifest the life that we really want. It's also a chance for me to use manifesting techniques in the creative process to develop my own stories for my writing and for my work in Irish heritage. If you were to use storytelling to, I suppose, as a way to enable the law of attraction to bring things into your life, the principal way you might do that is by writing out a story of your future self. The things that you would like to happen, the experiences, the goals being achieved, you would write that as any kind of narrative piece. Usually you'd write it in the first person, telling like what your ideal day is, and then reading it, getting into the feelings of what it feels like to have achieved your goal. Doing this all through writing in order to bring about the future that you would like. Now, this process we call scripting. You are writing a script for your future life, and there are loads of ways of doing it. You can do it like a journal entry. You could do it as kind of like a script. You could have it as a conversation between you and someone else. You could also do it in third person, where you're distancing yourself from the actual events. But there are some brilliant techniques out there, and I'm going to share one by the channel called Life by Lucy. This is absolutely amazing, and it's a process by which Lucy, who is an incredible YouTuber, created every single goal that she decided to write down she achieved. And the act of writing it placed her into the goals. Like, it really helped her feel that she was achieving these goals, that she'd already achieved them, and she was writing a letter of gratitude. But also the process of reading those goals and the gratitude she felt for having gotten them, that was a huge benefit in helping cement that feeling. Now, I recommend, I'm going to tag it below, just to have a look at Lucy's video, because it is incredible and it's brilliant, and the way she describes things and her process is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to give you a brief idea of how she did this, her scripting. But first, a disclaimer. You can see from previous videos, I have used vision boards really successfully. I have used affirmations, I've used visualizing and meditations, all things that have really helped me achieve the goals that I would like. I have used scripting, and I don't think it's ever actually worked for me. So this process, I'll be trying Lucy's scripting tutorial first to see how it works, because not every process is going to work for you, and I am dyslexic, so in general I do actually have an issue with words, even though my work predominantly it uses words most of the time, either by writing my own stories or by creating educational resources. So yes, it's one of those weird paradoxes. But just to share what Lucy did, she saw a video about, I think it was a person who had come with a list to Jerry and Esther Hicks, who I'd imagine, if you're interested in the law of attraction, you know who they are, but well worth looking them up. So apparently this guy, he had wrote a list to Jerry and Esther Hicks with a list of all the things that he wanted to achieve, and he wrote them kind of, I am so grateful now that I have my, we'll say, Mercedes car, and that I get the feeling of driving along the road, and, you know, heated seats. And he was really placing himself into it. He was giving the vision, he was giving the sensory, he was sort of getting the emotions and the experience right, but he was also expressing gratitude. So Lucy did this as well. She wrote a letter to Jerry and Esther Hicks, and she made a list of 5 things that she wanted to achieve, but she wrote them as I'm so grateful that I have achieved this, but she did it in a much nicer way than that. Like she did as a thank you note. And that was a letter of sincere gratitude that they had shared this process and now she had achieved this. So I worked on that process and I bought this thank you card from the local discount store. It was €1. And I decided to make my own list, but I decided to address it to Lucy. Now I'm going to read the start of this letter. I'm not going to read the entire thing because each of these should be extremely personal. You know, they should be things that you're sharing with someone on a very personal level, your gratitude to them, and you're sharing, you know, intimate details. So I'm just going to give you a vague idea of what's contained in this letter, but I'll start off by showing you how you're going to start it. And try to tap in that this is something that you might actually get a chance to share the letter, that you might actually meet the person you're writing to and get to express your thanks for them sharing this process and getting to share your joy at what you've actually achieved. So it starts off, I've written mine to Lucy, just as Lucy wrote hers to Jerry and Esther Hicks. So it starts, Dear Lucy, I want to thank you so much for sharing your scripting technique and giving me the chance to share what I've manifested using your method. This experience has been so life-changing in the most gentle, natural way. Thank you for lighting the way. So that's how you start off, and it should be it's getting you into the process that you really are thankful. And what I like about this is actually quite exciting that you could be sharing it. Now, normally when I'm writing these kind of letter styles as a thanks, I usually address it to the universe or to God, but you could address it to whoever you want. So what's interesting is this is actually being addressed to a person, because where I generally don't write letters to the universe, I could write an email or something to a person. So this is kind of based in an act that I might actually do. It should be like, how do you say thanks for something? And if, in all honesty, you wanted to express your gratitude to, say, you look at Lucy's video and you're really grateful, and you would maybe do this in a comment on her video. You might say, Lucy, listen, thanks a million. I managed to achieve ... Your technique is brilliant. Write it that way. I try to make people feel like I am grateful, and I try to like use quite formal language and things like that. So that's the reason I have written it in this manner. It kind of feels natural to me. You should do exactly what feels right for you. So if you imagine that you are someone to send a thank you, you have like a message with thank you and then a couple of emojis of the things that you received. Do that. It's whatever you would really do. So I'm imagining that this is a card that I'm actually writing and sending. So that's why I've written it in that manner. The list of things that I have here. So kind of loose categories. I would say a personal goal is how I start off, because that kind of is the most important to me. Then I talk about my work, work goals. The next is sort of health and physical goals. I move on to talk about my financial goals, and then I finish it with an equally important thing, that it's about my family. And let me see, what can I read here? I'll just read the end of it, and you can see I ran out of space, so I had to write on the end of it. So I finish off that I have nothing but gratitude for your videos. Thank you for evoking such amazing transformation in my life and helping me appreciate all the wonderful things in my life. As a token of my gratitude, please accept. Now, my goal is to write, and it's also around the area of educating young people about Irish heritage. So, as a token of my gratitude, please accept a copy of my novel and this print from my soon to be published children's novel, Love, Sarah. So, I think this is kind of a nice thing, and it's not something that I've seen before, but in most of our goals, there usually is something that comes at the end of them. There's usually like a physical thing, gift that we can pass on. So in the end of it, if I achieve my goals, I will have a novel and I will have a children's book that explores Irish heritage. And in order to thank Lucy and as confirmation that my goals have been achieved, I could send her copies of those. So maybe you're an artist, maybe you are someone who works in PR or marketing or branding, maybe you're a baker, or maybe you're like a school teacher. There is always something that you could share just as a mark of your gratitude. So if you are like in PR or marketing, you could send some kind of token. You could send biscuits if you are a baker. You could send a picture that your school children drew as when they were inspired by a lesson that you gave. So what I'm doing in this is I'm writing this card as if I was going to send it. I am saying that I'm grateful for the process that I've learned. I've listed the things that I've achieved because of this process. Then I'm also sending a little token that wouldn't exist only for this process, but it is a physical expression of my gratitude. Now, what Lucy says is that she read this every morning and every evening for 30 days. And that is what I'm going to hopefully do, and I'll get back to you and let you know if anything comes true on it. I think how this differs slightly from Lucy's is there is a physical card, and that just kind of I need some kind of visual or physical anchor to lock me into the process. Words alone are not enough for me. With this, especially when it's a handwritten note. It's different when I'm writing my own stories, but as a note, I need something physical to help me along. And the other slight difference is that I'm kind of suggesting that there would be something at the end of it. So it could be the fact that you've made a card, or you show a picture, send a picture of what you actually achieved. It's just a token of gratitude, and that token won't exist until your goals have actually come true. And I really like this. It's got me very excited. When I was listing the goals, it's like you could say it's the feeling when you finish a marathon, or you could send a picture of a medal, or you want to get a little bit of the process of getting to the end, getting to the goal, but also a little thing that shows that you've reached the end and how that feels. And when you're writing your goals, I have a little paragraph. It describes how I feel at the end of it, how I achieved it, and it's just it should be very genuine and real to you. But I hope this helps. I'd love to see if you decide to pick up one of these cards. Of course, you can write it on a scrap of paper, you can put it in a notebook, anything that makes you comfortable. I am going to get a paper clip and stick this into my journal that I'm using at the moment, so that's what I look at morning and night. But good luck and happy manifesting. Thank you so much for watching.